Cette émission s'adresse à un auditoire averti et peut comporter des scènes sexuellement explicites, du langage grossier ou du contenu adulte.
The current culture of celebrity in Hollywood is to build people up as high as we can, and then for sport, throw them down.
La célébrité de Michael Jackson est inouïe. Les scandales qui lui sont associés sont tout aussi extravagants.
You can't separate the man from the scandal. It just doesn't work that way.
La violence physique de sa jeunesse.
But he gave him a beating with a belt. I mean, he used the buckle end.
Ses relations étonnantes.
Everyone thought it was a publicity stunt.
Et son amour des enfants.
Don't treat me like a criminal, because I am innocent.
Le roi de la pop est-il un enfant dans un corps d'homme?
Part of him remained a child, and I don't think he had a problem with that.
Ou un criminel?
You're probably in a pretty serious state of denial if you still think it didn't happen.
Le 13 juin 2005, le monde entier est rivé à son téléviseur pour connaître le verdict du procès de Michael Jackson, accusé de pédophilie. Le destin du roi de la pop est entre les mains du jury. Celui-ci tranchera sur une question que plusieurs se posent depuis des années. Quelle est la vraie nature de la relation qu'a Michael Jackson avec les jeunes enfants?
45-year-old man having sleepovers with 9-year-old boys.
The jurors go back into the deliberation room and the waiting game starts.
Michael Jackson est l'un des artistes les plus marquants de l'histoire.
Michael Jackson, at the height of his career, was the most recognizable, most famous person on the entire planet.
Il est aussi l'un des plus scandaleux. Les médias adorent son comportement étrange, son apparence changeante et la dépendance aux médicaments qui lui sera fatale. Plusieurs personnes associent surtout le chanteur aux relations personnelles étranges qu'il entretient.
He was a fixture for every tabloid because they couldn't predict the outlandish behavior. They would never be able to predict that he'd end up marrying Elvis's daughter, have a surrogate for 2 of his children. He would hold his child from a balcony roof.
Avec le procès du siècle, la frénésie entourant Michael Jackson atteint son paroxysme. Toute sa vie d'adulte, le chanteur a tenté de retrouver son enfance perdue. À l'âge de 6 ans, Michael Jackson charme le monde entier en tant que chanteur des Jackson 5.
I was the editor of Right On Magazine, which was a magazine created because of the phenomenon of the Jackson 5. When the Jackson 5 came out on Motown, they started having a lot of hits.
Who didn't love the Jackson 5? I grew up wanting to be, in the Jackson 5.
He was definitely the focal point in the group. All eyes were on little Michael Jackson.
Toutefois, la route vers la gloire n'a pas été facile pour Michael.
Practice, practice, practice. That's really all the Jackson 5 ever did. They weren't out playing with their friends very often at all. They were inside rehearsing all the time. Their dad wanted them to be sharp. He wanted them to be able to earn money.
What that ended up resulting in for him was it put undue pressure on him. No 7 or 8-year-old should have to wonder what role they play in the family's finances.
En tant que membre le plus talentueux du groupe, le jeune Michael ressent le fardeau financier de la famille. Son père mène le groupe d'une main de fer.
We were nervous rehearsing because he sat in a chair and he had this bell in his hand. And if you didn't do it the right way, he would tear you up, really get you.
Joe Jackson was a failed musician. He was working the night shift as a crane operator at a steel mill. But he still maintained this sort of dream of success in music. He'd kind of abandoned it for himself, but he saw that his sons had some ability. He drove them relentlessly.
If there had not been a Joe Jackson, there would not be a Michael Jackson or any other Jackson. You have to have that discipline.
Pour certains, la discipline de fer qu'impose Joe Jackson est la source des problèmes relationnels que vivra plus tard Michael.
He would lose his temper. I just remember hearing my mother scream, "Joe, you're gonna kill him, you're gonna kill him." I mean, scared. So scared that I would regurgitate.
He was sadistic and selfish and greedy. And he wounded all of his children, but especially the most sensitive one, deeply. You know, when he gave him a beating with a belt, I mean, he used the buckle end.
And our parents are supposed to be people that love us and that care for us and show us a model of unconditional love. Instead, his father showed him terror and fear.
So I think that he grew up this sort of fearful child that he never stopped being.
À cause de son éducation, Michael Jackson a une image déformée de l'amour. L'enfant prodige devient encore plus mêlé quand les Jackson 5 partent en tournée.
Their first gigs were in strip clubs. So Michael is 6 years old, standing in the wings, watching some woman strip totally and then throw her underwear out into the crowd and passing around and sniffing them. And he's watching this, unable to comprehend it.
His brothers enjoyed all these girls running after them, and the fans would find their way into the hotel rooms, and they'd hide in the closets.
He's sharing rooms with his brothers, and they're having sex with the groupies basically next to him in bed. He actually would, like, talk to some of these groupies and try to get them not to sleep with his brothers, and with tears in his eyes, "Don't do this to yourself." He's prepubescent, being bombarded with, you know, this kind of raw sexuality. And so he recoiled from that and began developing a very idealized, romanticized view of sex, but it was also kind of an antiseptic view of sex.
Comme il est confronté au monde des adultes depuis son plus jeune âge, Michael rêve d'une enfance normale.
I don't think he felt like he had anybody who understood him. He didn't hang out with anybody his own age. He hung out with only people older than him. And he was asked to behave like somebody who was older.
Michael's most poignant memory was when he was in the studio. The windows happened to face out on a playground, and he would see the kids on the merry-go-round. And I'm just like, oh, if I could only have that life.
Une fois adulte, Michael tente de se réapproprier l'enfance à laquelle son père l'a obligé à renoncer.
There was this sense that he had got kind of stunted emotionally, psychologically, and that somehow he just got trapped.
He forever held on to that boyhood. It was like he never wanted to grow up and become a man in any way.
Ne pas devenir un homme, c'est aussi ne pas avoir de fréquentation. Le célibat de Michael fait jaser et on s'interroge au sujet de sa sexualité.
People had been whispering about Michael anyway because there was a delicacy to the way he presented himself. The romance with Tatum O'Neal, you know, was supposed to combat that.
Michael Jackson rencontre l'actrice Tatum O'Neal à la fin des années 70. Il a 17 ans et elle en a 12. Pour projeter l'image d'un homme normal, Michael dit que Tatum est sa petite amie. Certains doutent de la véracité de ses dires.
My first girlfriend was Tatum O'Neal, but I don't think I was ready for some of the things she was talking about. I was pretty naive, I'm not joking.
Word really got out because of this party at Rod Stewart's house where reportedly Tatum O'Neal tried to get Michael into bed and Michael fled. And you know, it was a public scene. You know, he left the house in tears and a lot of people saw it, wondered, what does that mean?
Sometimes he seemed asexual, and then other times he was very interested in girls. One day I came over to his home and he said, "I want to show you some photos of someone. This is the most beautiful girl in the whole world." It turned out to be Brooke Shields. And she was absolutely stunning. Michael started collecting photos of her, and eventually the two became friends.
En 1984, Brooke accompagne Michael au gala des prix Grammy. Le couple fait jaser pour de mauvaises raisons. le roi de la pop semble s'intéresser davantage à quelqu'un d'autre.
At the Grammy Awards, he would go with her, but he'd have Emmanuel Lewis, the Webster kid, sitting on his lap. I think it was fairly obvious by then to everybody that the whole thing with Brooke Shields was, you know, a friendship at best and not a romantic relationship.
I was on a ski trip with Brooke Shields years after the famous dates that he went on with Brooke. She said my mother and his manager put that together. So I think all of those supposed affairs with Tatum O'Neal and with Brooke Shields were all for show.
En public, Michael Jackson continue de se faire voir en compagnie des femmes.
Showing up at the 1991 Academy Awards with Madonna on his arm. Like, what would she be doing with Michael Jackson? Here are the two biggest publicity whores on the planet.
En privé, le chanteur préfère passer du temps avec des enfants.
Michael Jackson enjoyed the company of children more than adults because he felt the children would not judge him.
Part of him remained a child, and I don't think he had a problem with it.
He proceeded to turn his entire adult life into a life of a child. I just think he was going back and trying to get the thing that he wanted, which was to be a kid.
At the time, a lot of people saw it as kind of cute and charming, but an indication that he thought of himself as a child in some ways. And then it started to turn a lot more darkly when allegations of molestation were made.
Cette émission s'adresse à un auditoire averti et peut comporter des scènes sexuellement explicites, du langage grossier ou du contenu adulte. Le 21 août 1993, des officiers de police effectuent une descente au ranch Neverland de Michael Jackson. C'est la première d'une série d'accusations de pédophilie. On veut savoir si l'amitié qu'entretient le chanteur avec les enfants est innocente ou si elle cache quelque chose de plus sombre. Michael Jackson achète le ranch Neverland en 1988. Ce domaine de 1400 hectares est situé dans le comté de Santa Barbara. Il tient son nom de l'île de Peter Pan.
Peter Pan, to me, represents something that's very special in my heart. You know, he represents childhood, never growing up. I am Peter Pan.
There was so much truth to the whole Peter Pan metaphor for him. He really was a child rather than an adult. This was the environment that reflected his whole Peter Pan-dom, his determination to, you know, remain a child, to live as a child, to recover his own innocence, and to protect and cherish the innocence of others.
He wanted to create his own kingdom where he could go and have his friends go, and he could have whatever he wanted there.
At the time, a lot of people saw it as kind of cute and charming, but an indication that he thought of himself as a child in some ways. And then it started to turn a lot more darkly when allegations of molestation were made.
En 1992, Michael fait la rencontre de Jordan Chandler, âgé de 12 ans. Ils deviennent rapidement de bons amis. Ils sont peut-être même trop proches.
The real come together for Jordy Chandler and Michael Jackson was at his stepfather's business, a rent-a-wreck company. Michael Jackson's car had broken down and went in to rent a car, and the rest is history.
To say that Michael got obsessed with Jordy Chandler, I don't think is an exaggeration. I mean, it reached the point where Jordy would come home from school at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and Michael would call within 5 minutes after he walked in the door, and they'd be on the phone for hours.
I just knew he liked being around him, and the family thought it was okay for them to be able to be around each other. Michael would take him to concerts, and he got to go with him everywhere after a while as a little companion.
The family got close to Michael. He treated the mother on trips to Las Vegas and Monte Carlo, bought her jewelry. There were a lot of visits to Neverland.
Avec le temps, la famille change de discours.
The father, Evan, claimed that he walked into the bedroom and saw Michael and Jordy in the same bed spooning. It was disturbing to him, and then he began to press and investigate and came to the conclusion that there really was a sexual relationship here.
Jordan Chandler dément d'abord les soupçons de son père, mais il finit par affirmer que Michael Jackson abusait de lui sexuellement.
Allegedly, the father, who was a dentist turned scriptwriter, brought his son into a dental office where he was given sodium amytal, and the allegations were that the father did this and that the father may have influenced the son to believe he had been molested.
Sodium amytal is used oftentimes to induce some memories. Unfortunately, it can also lead to certain delusions. But once our brain is convinced that it's a memory, a real memory and a fake memory feels the same to us.
Certains disent que l'amobarbital n'aurait pas été utilisé pour altérer les souvenirs de Jordan.
There is no evidence that sodium amytal was used. I talked with the anesthesiologist. I looked at paperwork. You need to have federal paperwork to use sodium amytal. There was no such thing. That just did not happen.
Evan Chandler menace de poursuivre Michael devant la justice s'il ne lui donne pas 20 millions de dollars.
This man is going to be humiliated beyond belief. He will not sell one more record. If I go through with this, I win big time. I will get everything I want. They will be destroyed forever.
Instead of saying, we have to go to the police, he went to a lawyer, a friend of his, and said, here's what I want. I want $20 million and or I want a screenplay deal with Michael Jackson footing the bill. Now, this is not a typical reaction to hearing that your son has been molested. And in the end, it came back to make him look like an extortionist.
Le chanteur refuse de payer Evan et celui-ci rapporte les allégations de son fils à la police. Michael Jackson sera bientôt placé en position de vulnérabilité.
The district attorney of Santa Barbara County, Mr. Tom Sneddon, was putting a full court press to investigate Michael Jackson based upon Mr. Chandler's allegations, and in the process received a court order, as I understand it, to photograph Mr. Jackson's genitals at Neverland so that Mr. Chandler's descriptions could be compared to the forensic evidence.
Le chanteur est convaincu qu'il est victime de fausses accusations et il craint que son amour des enfants soit mal interprété. Ébranlé, Michael Jackson tient une conférence de presse en direct pour se défendre.
I have been forced to submit to a dehumanizing and humiliating examination by the Santa Barbara County Sheriff Department and the Los Angeles Police Department earlier this week. They served a search warrant on me which allowed them to view and photograph my body, including my penis, my buttocks, my lower torso, thighs, and any other area that they wanted. Don't treat me like a criminal, because I am innocent.
Selon les médias, la version de Jordan prouve que Michael est loin d'être innocent.
According to Jordy Chandler, he had white patches or pinkish patches on his genitals. You could only see them when Michael Jackson was in an aroused state. I got some internal police records that prove there was such a mark on Michael Jackson's genitals. Jordy described it exactly.
Pourtant, un élément de preuve important ne concorde pas.
The main difference between Jordy's description and the physical reality was that Jordy had described Michael as circumcised and Michael was in fact uncircumcised.
Everybody this way for me. Mr. Jackson, 2, 3.
I don't remember exactly what it was that Jordan Chandler said about that. Understand anybody's ability to describe a physical anomaly is challenging. You're probably in a pretty serious state of denial if you think it didn't happen.
Dans les médias, le débat fait rage à propos de la véracité de la description de Jordan. Michael Jackson est humilié, mais le scandale est sur le point de prendre de l'ampleur.
On top of everything else that was coming at him, Michael had to deal with the fact that his sister LaToya was holding a press conference to say that, you know, he really was a child molester.
I must tell you that this is very difficult for me, that Michael is my brother. I love him a great deal, but I cannot and I will not be a silent collaborator of his crimes against small, innocent children.
She was willing to tell the whole story for a price. It turned out she had nothing to sell, and it sort of went away, but it didn't change the fact that now that was just that much more evidence in the media's mind that this was true.
On oublie les accusations controversées de LaToya Jackson. Par contre, Michael pose un geste étonnant qui fait croire à plusieurs qu'il a peut-être vraiment quelque chose à cacher.
It's hush money, it's go-away money.
Is there a monetary settlement involved in that?
Why did he go to such lengths, paying $20 to $30 million to pay off the first boy? If you're innocent, that's not what you do.
He is an innocent man who does not intend to have his career and his life destroyed by rumors and innuendos.
Michael Jackson should never have settled that case. He was advised to do that by lawyers and other people around him, none of whom were writing the check. And they wanted to just get this whole chapter closed so he could move on to lucrative business opportunities.
Même si le cas est réglé au civil, Michael n'est pas complètement innocenté. Des enquêtes menées par la Chambre des mises en accusation des comtés de Santa Barbara et de Los Angeles pourraient mener à des accusations criminelles et à un procès. Toutefois, le témoin principal est introuvable.
It became obvious that we weren't going to be able to commence a criminal prosecution without Jordan, and we didn't have him after that settlement. I mean, Jordan Chandler became, overnight, one of the richest 13-year-old boys in America.
Once a grand jury is convened, 99% of the time, there's criminal charges. You don't have to produce much evidence, just some evidence. And these juries concluded that there was no evidence.
Aux yeux de la loi, Michael Jackson est innocent. Malgré tout, de nombreuses personnes disent qu'il n'y a pas de fumée sans feu et continuent d'associer étroitement le chanteur à la pédophilie. L'artiste fait de son mieux pour changer son image publique, mais sa stratégie ne fait que créer une nouvelle controverse.
His marriage with Lisa Marie Presley, everyone thought it was a publicity stunt.
Cette émission s'adresse à un auditoire averti et peut comporter des scènes sexuellement explicites, du langage grossier ou du contenu adulte. Le 26 mai 1994, le roi de la pop épouse la fille du roi du rock and roll, Lisa Marie Presley. Pour la première fois de sa vie, Michael Jackson semble prêt à se caser et à fonder une famille. Pourtant, son mariage est la source d'un scandale qui fait la une. Le père de Lisa Marie, Elvis Presley, présente sa fille à Michael pour la première fois en 1974. Elle a 6 ans et il en a 16. C'est en 1992, en plein milieu de l'affaire Jordan Chandler, que Michael et Lisa Marie se rapprochent.
It was a professional thing for her. She thought he could help her career. Why did he marry her? Well, you know, Lisa Marie's mother, Priscilla Presley, said he married her because he was trying to, you know, cover his tracks after the Jordan Chandler affair. I mean, the relationship coincided with that scandal.
Le mariage a lieu à un moment trop opportun pour que les gens croient en son authenticité.
Word began to get out of, you know, what the circumstances of the marriage were. The justice of the peace who performed it said it was so odd and somber. He not only didn't kiss the bride, he didn't touch her.
Everyone thought it was a publicity stunt. And that was sort of unilaterally accepted. And any media that tried to put it out there as a legitimate marriage seemed almost like, you know, disconnected from the truth.
It's all a cover-up from the little child thing. That's what I think it is.
We've seen it all before, haven't we, really?
Le couple ne réussit pas à convaincre le public qu'il est amoureux. En privé, le mariage de Michael et de Lisa Marie s'étiole rapidement.
She was sincerely trying to make this real, but she got exhausted by the situation. They were living in separate houses, still married though. And he would come over supposedly to get together, but he'd have 2 or 3 kids with him, and they'd be running all over the house and screaming.
Au MTV Video Music Awards de 1995, la frustration de Lisa Marie envers Michael atteint son paroxysme.
They were separated, divorce seemed inevitable, but she'd agreed to accompany him to this event. But right as they were preparing to walk in, be on stage, he said, "I'm going to give you this passionate kiss." And she was, "No, you're not. You can't do that."
The kiss was so awkward. There was just something very uncomfortable and unnatural about it. It didn't seem like two people who were in love.
It was a staged kiss. Michael Jackson, who thought he was still a 13-year-old boy, was almost embarrassed by it.
Après 19 mois de mariage, Lisa Marie Presley demande le divorce à Michael Jackson. En fait, elle ne peut pas accepter ce qu'il lui demande.
What really dissolved it was he wanted a child, and she suspected that, he wanted a child that would be Elvis Presley's grandchild, and that it was going to end up being, the nightmare custody battle of all time, and so she wouldn't go on with it.
Michael tient à avoir des enfants afin de leur offrir l'enfance qu'il n'a jamais eue. Il fait appel à Debbie Rowe, une amie de longue date, ce qui engendre une toute nouvelle polémique.
She said you needed to be a daddy. More than she needed to be a mother.
Yeah. And she wanted to do that for me as a present.
Debbie Rowe was working for Arnold Klein, who was Michael's dermatologist. When she found out that he was frustrated and angry that Lisa Marie wouldn't agree to have a child, she said, well, I will.
He wanted control, and he wanted direct access to these children at all times. So the best way to do it is to make a business arrangement with somebody so that you get what you want out of the deal.
En novembre 1996, quelques mois après le divorce de Lisa Marie Presley, Debbie Rowe devient la deuxième épouse de Michael. Au cours des années qui suivent, elle portera deux des enfants du chanteur, Prince et Paris.
It was understood that she was being a kind of surrogate, yet she was willing to marry him. I mean, and really, she really liked being Michael Jackson's wife, even though they never spent a single night in the same bedroom.
He decided that if he had his own biological children, he could legitimately hang out with children more. The marriage to Debbie Rowe, the children that he had who looked nothing like him at all, only forced more skepticism into the eyes of the public.
Le mariage de Michael et de Debbie prend fin en 1999. Le chanteur n'a pas fini de former sa famille non traditionnelle. En 2002, il annonce la naissance de son troisième enfant, Prince Michael Jackson II, qu'il surnomme Blanket.
I used a surrogate mother, and she doesn't know me, I don't know her.
He was born at a hospital in San Diego to a surrogate mother who's never been identified. Two of Michael's older female friends whisked this child away from that hospital almost immediately after birth.
En 2004, 2 ans après la naissance de Blanket, Debbie Rowe fait une révélation choc à propos des 2 premiers enfants de Michael.
Debbie Rowe is saying there is no biological relationship between Michael and the children, Prince and Paris. It was pretty obvious to everybody that there was no biological relation just by looking at them, but it was a devastating psychological and emotional blow to Prince and Paris.
Michael continue tout de même d'affirmer qu'il est le père des 3 enfants.
I used my own sperm cells. I had my own sperm cells in my other 2 children.
No one knows, who the biological father of those 2 children is, but Debbie definitely was the biological mother. No one knows who either the father or the mother of Blanket is.
Les mensonges de Michael à propos de sa vie privée ne font qu'aviver les spéculations à son sujet.
It didn't have anything to do with Michael's, I don't think, potency or ability to father children. There's a lot of different things that people could say about why. I think the truest one is that Michael didn't want children that looked like Joe.
He made a very deliberate decision to not raise children the way that he was raised, with a strong hand. And I think that he succeeded.
La création d'une nouvelle famille permet à Michael d'éviter la dynamique familiale qu'on lui a imposée dans sa jeunesse. Même s'il a sa propre famille, le roi de la pop continue malgré tout de s'entourer des enfants des autres.
The question was and remains whether that was an emotional need or a sexual need.
Cette émission s'adresse à un auditoire averti et peut comporter des scènes sexuellement explicites, du langage grossier ou du contenu adulte. Le 19 novembre 2003, le shérif du comté de Santa Barbara, Jim Anderson, et le procureur du district, Tom Sneddon, s'adressent à une foule de journalistes.
An arrest warrant for Mr. Jackson has been issued on multiple counts of child molestation.
10 ans après les accusations de Jordan Chandler, alors qu'il tente de créer une vie idéale pour sa famille, Michael se retrouve à nouveau dans la mire du procureur du district de Santa Barbara, Tom Sneddon.
I always felt it was very much of a vendetta by District Attorney Tom Sneddon. I was informed that in the mid-1990s, he personally traveled to Australia and Canada looking for alleged victims and couldn't find them, and that at his direction, the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department had what we called an open casting call for anyone who wanted to come and give information against Michael Jackson.
Tom Sneddon finit par trouver quelqu'un qui affirme que Michael a abusé de lui. C'est en grande partie grâce au documentaire Living with Michael Jackson du journaliste Martin Bashir.
Martin Bashir was very clever in his seduction of Michael Jackson. By the time Bashir met Michael, he knew that Michael had this fascination bordering on obsession with Princess Diana.
Mr. Bashir represented to Michael Jackson that he had done a very authoritative biography of Princess Diana. And when Michael Jackson heard that, he trusted Mr. Bashir to be very honest and professional at all times. That was a grave mistake. It was probably the biggest mistake he ever made in his life.
Some people think that Martin Bashir was out to get Jackson. On the other hand, Jackson gave him an awful lot of ammunition.
Michael accepte de participer au documentaire dans l'espoir de relancer sa carrière.
Michael actually thought he was on the brink of a renaissance. He was going to sort of recover the superstar status that he really hadn't had since the Chandler affair broke.
De mai 2002 à janvier 2003, Martin Bashir a un accès sans précédent à Michael Jackson. Au lieu de se concentrer sur la carrière musicale de l'artiste, ses réalisateurs et lui captent tout ce qui pourrait alimenter la controverse.
It's okay, just get this off.
Oh, please don't cry, blanket.
Et les scandales.
The dangling baby incident was a big moment because it was a moment when Michael really felt the world turn against him. Nobody defended him for the baby dangling incident.
It was this really, really poor decision-making that happened because he was trying to please everybody that was there. Michael is the ultimate people pleaser. It's where he gets his validation. And I can just imagine as a child, that's how he was with his family.
Le documentaire met aussi en lumière quelque chose qui permettra à Tom Sneddon de déposer des accusations contre Michael Jackson. Pour les diffusions subséquentes du documentaire, le visage du témoin a été caché.
During a documentary done by Martin Bashir, Michael Jackson said that to share his bed with a young boy was the most beautiful thing in the world.
The question was and remains whether that was an emotional need or a sexual need.
I saw nothing inherently wrong with that scene. If you look at all the outtakes that were not included in that show, Michael Jackson is very adamant that he never would ever harm a child, and he was simply talking in a very kind way.
Living with Michael Jackson est diffusé en février 2003. 40 millions de personnes le regardent. Il ravive les préoccupations concernant la relation de Michael avec les enfants.
The Bashir documentary comes out and the whole world is horrified. Sneddon holds a press conference and says, "This is very disturbing and we're certainly going to look into this matter." And then through the incredibly convoluted process that followed, eventually he had a case.
Des mois après la diffusion du documentaire, un garçon affirme que Michael Jackson l'a violé. Une équipe d'enquêteurs dirigée par le procureur du district, Tom Sneddon, fait une descente à Neverland. Elle cherche des preuves qui démontrent que le chanteur est un pédophile.
Okay, that's locked.
His room was filled with sexually explicit magazines and books and materials. Some of them were oriented toward children. The kids had told us that these magazines were shown to them. We found their fingerprints on them.
There were a couple of books that were sent to Michael Jackson unsolicited. One was a homoerotic set of photographs sent to him by a world-famous photographer in Italy. There was another book called The Life of a Boy in Pictures. They also found a huge amount of Playboy and Penthouse magazines. The prosecution tried to turn that around and say that he used Playboy and Penthouse magazine to groom young children for molestation.
Michael Jackson est en état d'arrestation. S'il est reconnu coupable de tous les chefs d'accusation, il pourrait passer le reste de sa vie en prison. En janvier 2005, le procès de l'État de la Californie contre Michael Joseph Jackson débute. Les médias disent que c'est le procès du siècle. Dans la salle d'audience, la défense fait appel à des témoins incluant Wade Robson et Macaulay Culkin. Ils affirment tous que rien d'inapproprié n'est arrivé entre eux et Michael Jackson. Encore une fois, Jordan Chandler refuse de témoigner. En peu de temps, la poursuite criminelle ne tient plus.
We didn't have adequate corroboration. I think that the absence of the other children who could have come forward, that hurt us. I think the celebrity factor was profound.
De plus, la chronologie des événements est aussi problématique.
They'd initially stated times molestations took place, but it came out that Michael Jackson had a rock-solid alibi for those dates. Well, then the prosecution amended that to say that the molestations took place right after the Bashir documentary aired.
What they were trying to argue was that the Bashir documentary took place, that there was a firestorm of criticism around the world over that documentary. And they claimed that in the middle of all of this, he started molesting young boys. It was absurd.
Le procès s'étend sur presque 5 mois. Le monde entier attend impatiemment le verdict, mais quelques journalistes ont tout de même déjà forgé leur propre opinion.
He has a tendency to pick out very vulnerable children.
We know nothing. Maybe the letters say, I love you, get well soon.
People in the media invested their entire careers on seeing a conviction.
Cette émission s'adresse à un auditoire averti et peut comporter des scènes sexuellement explicites, du langage grossier ou du contenu adulte. Le 13 juin 2005. Les médias annoncent que le jury du procès de l'État de la Californie contre Michael Joseph Jackson rendra son verdict.
I remember that day so vividly. There were helicopters overhead. Lawyers were coming from everywhere. We were gathering in the courtroom waiting for this verdict. It was one of the most tense times I've ever waited for a verdict. And believe me, I waited for a lot of verdicts.
The whole world was watching. People in every world capital stopped what they were doing, looked at their TV sets, listened to their radios, looked at their computers to see what was going to happen to Michael Jackson.
I went back to Tom Snedden, the district attorney, before the verdicts were read, and I told him what my expectation was, and that's what happened.
Tout le monde est impatient de savoir si Michael Jackson sera reconnu coupable des 14 chefs d'accusation qui pèsent contre lui.
We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of conspiracy as charged in count 1 of the indictment.
He was found not guilty, completely exonerated. It was quite a moment in the courtroom, I'll tell you. Tom Snedden had never lost a case until this one.
I would say the verdict was not the right verdict, but I tend not to second-guess juries' verdicts. It's not the first not guilty I've had in my 34 years as a prosecutor. It may not even be the last one.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I just see 2 + 2 = 4.
Certains journalistes sont sous le choc.
People in the media invested their entire careers on seeing a conviction. They weren't there to report objectively. They were there to report in a way which would get them the result they wanted that would further their careers.
Même s'il a gagné le procès, Michael Jackson est abattu par le scandale.
I must say that he looked terrible that day. He looked very, very weak. He looked very, he'd lost a lot of weight. His cheeks were sunken in. He didn't want to talk too much.
Plusieurs refusent de croire que le chanteur est innocent.
If you were to do a straw poll on the street, I'm convinced that the majority of people would believe that something inappropriate took place.
There's an interesting fact that once you've made up your mind, it takes 13 different facts that go in the opposite direction before you can start to be swayed or convinced. So I think once people made up their mind that Michael Jackson was a sexual predator or a pedophile, they weren't going to change their minds at all.
La couverture sensationnaliste du procès et le documentaire de Martin Bashir ont convaincu bien des gens que Michael Jackson est un pédophile. Après l'annonce du verdict, c'est la couverture médiatique qui devient scandaleuse.
We talk about the media as if it's a collective body, and it's easy to forget that we're talking about individual people, and that reporters and journalists are no different from the rest of us, except that they're covering the story.
History will look at the Bashir documentary as being a fine piece of journalism. No journalist would have such unfettered access to a celebrity at the center of scandal and not frame it in the way that he and his producers ultimately did.
I came out of this with a very low opinion of Martin Bashir, which was shared by the jury when they actually got to see all the outtakes, all the ways in which Bashir had flattered and manipulated Michael Jackson. There was all this great stuff that would have made Michael Jackson look like a far more sympathetic and interesting and unique person. All that was cut out, and everything was focused on Michael Jackson the freak, Michael Jackson the pedophile.
Man, if I could get a hold of Martin Bashir, I'd probably break some bones. I don't have a lot of respect for him. Asshole.
My brother, the legendary king of pop, Michael Jackson, passed away on Thursday, June 25th, 2009 at 2:26 p.m.
En 2009, 4 ans après le procès, Michael Jackson meurt d'une surdose de médicaments administrés par son médecin personnel, le docteur Conrad Murray. Même s'il est mort, le chanteur continue de susciter la controverse. Sa sexualité fait toujours jaser. En 2013, de nouvelles accusations choc proviennent d'une personne bien connue.
Wade Robson now says that he was molested for at least 7 years by Michael Jackson. You know, Wade Robson was the defense attorney's key witness. Well, now, all these years forward, Wade Robson says, I was lying on the stand. I was molested, and it has affected me so deeply, I had not one but 2 nervous breakdowns. And now he is suing the Jackson estate.
By starting our case with Wade Robson, we were starting with a very powerful witness who was adamant that Michael Jackson had never inappropriately touched him at any time, in any manner. And to have him this many years later, with Michael Jackson passed away and unable to respond, to have him come out and change his story, I find very unacceptable.
Les multiples accusations de pédophilie qui visent Michael Jackson créent un doute au sujet de la personne qu'il était vraiment. Pour certains, ces relations étranges démontrent qu'il est un monstrueux prédateur. Pour d'autres, il est un enfant innocent prisonnier d'un corps d'homme. Quoi qu'il en soit, la jeunesse troublée du chanteur a fait de lui un homme qui refuse ou qui est incapable de quitter l'enfance.
I think Michael is a textbook case for why childhood is really the most important thing in our adult trajectory. In his mind, he was a child. And I've always believed that when there was a lot of media about him possibly acting inappropriately with these children, that he wasn't really doing it from the mind of an adult.
I never believed that he felt he was a kid trapped in a man's body. That's what he used to say, but I think he had a pretty good understanding of who he was.
You can't separate the man from the scandal. It just doesn't work that way, especially since it's such an egregious scandal. It wasn't like, you know, someone stole $1,000. It's like you stole some children's innocence.
All the controversies and scandals and the greed-soaked aftermath of Michael's death is continuing to play out like an epilogue. But once that does play out, I think people will start to remember Michael Jackson mainly as an artist, and his influence as an artist will be what counts.